Hi, I'm Kelly Kramer.
And I'm Scott Sipker. Welcome to Cordova Park, here at Lake Red Rock.
And our latest edition of Iowa Outdoors. Coming up on this episode of Iowa Outdoors.
We sit in awe of an athletic performance on Eagle Lake.
Join students testing Iowa waterways for the release of young trout.
Take to the skies of central Iowa.
Photograph Lake Okoboji from a unique vantage point.
And explore another trail in a minute.
We'll have all that and more.
So sit tight. Iowa Outdoors is about to begin.
Funding for Iowa Outdoors is provided by the Claude P. Small, Catherine Small Cousins, and William Carl Cousins Fund at the Lincoln Way Community Foundation in Clinton County to support nature programming on Iowa Public Television.
And by the Alliant Energy Foundation. Many of Iowa's natural wonders you'll find on Iowa Public Television can be found in Iowa Outdoors Magazine, the Iowa DNR's premier resource for conservation, education, and recreation activities. Subscription information can be found online at iowadnr.gov.
Water is the key ingredient for sustaining life, and when it comes to recreation and conservation, it takes on even greater importance.
Today's journey will see us soar above a celebrated Iowa lake in search of the perfect aerial photo, as well as examine the delicate ecology of Iowa's waterways.
But first, grab your popcorn because you're in for a show.
Water skiing can be one of those sports that's intimidating for folks to even try. And for those who do, sometimes just getting out of the water and staying upright on your skis for a few seconds can be an accomplishment.
So imagine climbing on top of other skiers in formation or attempting challenging jumps while being pulled across the lake. The Waterhawk ski team in Waterloo wows crowds every summer with their entertaining shows of talent and skill. The Waterloo Waterhawks are one of only a few show ski teams in Iowa, combining athletic ability, artistry, talent, timing, and teamwork to wow audiences.
Make some noise for our conventional line.
It's a really fun experience, just, I don't know, a lot of stuff to see out there.
My name is Kathy and you know what I got. What do you got? I got a team that is hotter than hot. How hot is hot? Building pyramids and barefooting too. Nobody skis like the Waterhawks do. Woo!
There are people of all ages and skill levels involved. Garrett Bunge has been skiing his whole life. He saw a Waterhawk show when he was 13, joined the team, and has been a member ever since.
We came out, saw a show, it was awesome. I mean, I was just hooked instantly. I mean, the fact that, you know, from skiing on the river, you don't do any of this stuff. You know, you might two-ski or slalom, but to see pyramids, guys going over the jump, barefooting, I mean, it was amazing. So that's what got me hooked.
Find seats in the bleachers or bring their own chairs and settle in for an hour-long show that impresses and entertains from start to finish. There's a little bit of everything, from big formations to dancing to barefoot skiing to challenging jumps.
He's got to jump!
The Waterhawks make it look easy, but anyone who skis knows it's not.
I will tell you, hitting the water at 40 miles an hour feels like concrete. You know, it's just, you'd think that water is soft, but it's when you're going that fast and you fall, you could definitely feel it. But I love to do it, so it doesn't stop me at all.
I do straps. It's where the guy has like this harness on and like the rope connects to it, and then he holds the like little handle thing, and I'm on his shoulders, and then he lets go of the handle thing, and then we do like moves and stuff.
The increased difficulty is just, I mean, it skyrockets because it's so much more weight on the guys underneath. But, you know, and there is something to be said for having a lot of people on there because you're all behind one boat, and if one person falls, your rope could take everybody else out.
With a relatively short 3-month summer season on the lake, the Waterhawks rely on doing quite a bit of training in the off-season, on land and in a gym. It takes a lot of practice to perfect the choreography and formations for the show.
We're not one of the bigger teams by any means, but what we do it well. One of our big things that we are noted for is our stage production, which is our props and our our props on stage and on water and all that kind of stuff. Some of the big teams have, upwards of 80 skiers, where we'll have half of that, So we have to ski, pretty clean and then have a good production on stage.
The Waterhawks practice and perform on Eagle Lake, a small lake they own, right along Interstate 380 near Evansdale.
We are on a disadvantage because everything we have to do is in circle patterns, where some of these big teams go on a river and they can take it down, down the river and build it and then come back and, and do that. So it is neat to be able to do our acts right in front of the crowd, where a lot of these big teams will take it and you don't see them do it.
For families that don't have their own boats, you can occasionally rent a club boat hourly to get experience water skiing.
There's not very many sports where you can go out there and everybody can be involved, it's which I think is an awesome thing. I mean, I got, 2 daughters that ski and now my son and, my wife's involved. And so we're, it's one of the only sports where everybody can do something.
The Waterhawks have won the Midwest Regional competition several times and finished as high as 6th at Nationals. It's tough competing against teams from southern states that can ski year-round.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for our Waterhawk Final Pyramid!
Shows take place at Eagle Lake several Friday evenings throughout the summer, as well as a couple Sundays. Check waterhawks.org for a complete schedule and more information. The Waterhawks consider themselves one of the Cedar Valley's best-kept secrets, but they don't want it to stay that way. Whether you're a skier or not, this is a show you don't want to miss.
The skiers and we don't deserve to have all the fun. We want to share some of the fun with everybody else. So I mean, it is a blast. Even if you're not into skiing, it's still awesome. It's still really, really cool, and I guarantee you'll be impressed.
Every year, the DNR seeds Iowa's rivers and streams with more than 250,000 trout, spawning and raising each animal from harvested egg to half-pound fish a year later. It's an intense process that requires a great deal of patience and skill.
While the DNR is stocked with specialized and time-tested professionals, that interest had to start somewhere. Well, for one very special group in Charles City, the next generation of aquatic wildlife experts are just starting to dip their toes in the water of animal husbandry.
It looks pretty close to 8, and you can kind of put it up here.
I think it might be like a 9 or 10.
This is our Trout in the Classroom release day. There's 22 students all together. I've got a conservation club that we meet every single day, 5th hour. I've got a group here that elected at the beginning of the year to take care of the trout. They were interested in it, they were passionate about it. And then I've got a group here that I meet with on Friday mornings at 7:30 called my Fly Fishing Club. All different groups all come together for this one day, and we're doing some water tests this morning. We release the trout, and then later on we'll have a chance to do a little bit of fishing too.
They're really small.
Yeah, I don't see anything, do you guys?
Few people are foolish enough to call fishing easy, but reeling in a fish has nothing on the hard work it takes to raise and release adolescent trout.
Oh wait, right here. It's another larva thing. Right now we're sifting for bugs to know how well and healthy the water is. And so like based off of certain bugs that you find, that's how you can tell if they're able to live in this water, if it's healthy enough, or if there's certain bugs in here that can like stand pollutants, then it's not that healthy of a river. But right now we found some bugs that are very sensitive to it, And so since they're in here, that means that they can withstand that.
Release Day is the grand finale of a semesters-long journey for these students. It's a journey students across the country take every year with the guidance of the fishery-focused nonprofit Trout Unlimited.
Trout in the Classroom is actually a project that was started by Trout Unlimited. Iowa Driftless chapter up in Decorah was the ones that donated us funding to be able to bring the kids here today. It's been supported by them to purchase the tanks, so it's been a good partnership.
And the tanks in Charles City Middle School is where this annual project begins.
Back in January, we received about 250 eggs from the Iowa DNR, so they're always our partner in Trout in the Classroom.
This is the size trout that we stock.
So ever since that time, the students have been raising the trout, and they get to watch the different life cycles from, they start out as eggs, of course, and then they become a leaven. It looks like a tadpole in a way, and then they take on the fish appearance that you see when you typically think of a trout.
And when the right spring day arrives, it's moving day for the trout.
We are taking the trout out of the tank that we been raising them in, and we're putting them in this bucket so we can take them out to Spring Creek by Orchard and let them go.
The next one is going to be Stream Flow. Go to page 425 in here. This one's really fun.
While certainly a day full of adventure, Release Day is packed with learning. It starts off with all kinds of water quality measurements, using everyday tools and a few things you're probably used to seeing in chemistry class.
Basically, you stick this down in here and break off the tip.
Oh.
And then it'll fill with water, and then you kind of shake it for a little bit and then hold it.
Wait, in where?
Below it there, and now you let it fill.
Oh, it's turning colors, okay.
And now you take it out, and kind of just go back and forth some.
Trout require a they're very sensitive in terms of the water quality. It's very evident here in Iowa and other trout streams around the country. The pH has to be right on, the nitrogen levels have to be right on. And so through that, they learn what a sensitive environment it demands. A couple other things we talk about are land ownership. We talk a little bit about some of the governmental and conservation efforts that take place up here to make a trout stream like we have here in Orchard a great place to fish.
And nearly all of the Trout in the Classroom students are avid fishermen. But taking part in this event is about much more than an excuse to cast a line during the school day. From the very beginning of the project, students are expanding their minds on what it takes for these animals to survive.
Just getting them in the first place was nice, just to see the cute little tiny eggs. And then we also want to learn more about just the things that you can do to help out with stream and fishing and everything like that. It really shows you just how much humans can impact fish, even nature.
I really think it's helping our community because it's teaching the next generation how to take care of your stream and find out if it's unhealthy for the animals living in it.
Of course, when all the measurements come in clear, the main event takes place. And while pouring buckets of young trout into a creek might seem anticlimactic, Ryan is quick to point out this was never about the destination, but rather the lifelong journey.
I think it gives a greater respect to the different entities that have to come together to create a place like this for trout to live. It takes a cooperation between private owners, the government, being the Iowa DNR, and then anglers themselves, of course, too.
Iowa has some spectacular views, and seeing them in person is a big part of the enjoyment. Still, try as you might, some views are just impossible to reach. That is, unless you take a look from above. So keep your hands and feet in the viewing area as we show you Iowa by air. Sprawling through the rolling bluffs south of Boone, For nearly 100 years, Ledges has been one of Iowa's most popular state parks. On the western edge of the park sits the Des Moines River, flowing right by some of the park's most impressive bluffs. From above, you discover the perfect vantage point to see how the tucked-away Lost Lake got its name. Ledges State Park, an excellent park to visit and picture-perfect place to see Iowa by air.
One of Iowa's most popular travel destinations can be found along our state's northern border. For many families, images of Okoboji and Spirit Lakes represent generations of summer vacations.
But for one Iowan, the best perspective is a few hundred feet above the shoreline. It's an aerial view he's always had an appreciation for and now has the opportunity to share it with everyone else.
I like it all. I like the whole difficulty of it. I like the whole challenge of it, and I like the random feeling of euphoria when it works, when it works. As a photographer, you know when those moments are when you go, that was it, I nailed it. That's going to be amazing to see on the computer.
From fall color to frozen tundra, Tom Gustafson spends much of his free time drifting above Lake Okoboji.
I would say the first thing that comes to my mind is calm water, the oranges, the yellows, and reds, and of course the blue, but just calm water, peacefulness, maybe one boat or nothing at all.
Before sunrise, Tom ventures out to prepare his aerial filming craft. Not a helicopter or a personal airplane, but a drone. And the first moments of light are only a couple minutes away. Against the calm, pre-dawn silence whirs a constant sound of small propellers. Tom drifts over a section of East Okoboji Lake, waiting for the first rays of light to ricochet off the water.
Okay, now I'm gonna move around here. Oh yeah, it's starting to warm up out there, the light. I have a variety of favorites, and it kind of migrates, it kind of moves around sometimes. I like some where there's a single fisherman and it's very peaceful. I like some that are very abstract and where it's just a mix of textures and materials and you don't know where that is or what that is. But once I tell you, then you go, ah. I used to be a pilot long ago, a private pilot. And so with that, I knew what the area looked like from above, and I knew that it was fascinating to see. And then when this whole genre of drones with cameras on them came out, I knew just reading the specs that the quality wasn't quite there. And so when it started getting better and better, I thought, okay, I have to get this. I've been, I would say, an amateur. I've always been an enthusiast. Ever since I was a little kid, my mom had like a little Vivitar 110 camera, if you kind of remember those little, and I was just fascinated with what you could get from that. You know, you can actually capture a moment in time. This is when I was really young. And then, you know, you send it to the drugstore, the film, and you get it back, and you go, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago you took this, and then you remember what it was. And so I've always been enthralled with photography. So then I got a drone and started sharing those photographs, and people really, really enjoyed seeing Okoboji from a completely different perspective. I'm sharing photos, and then a buddy said, dude, you need to make a book. And I thought he's just being nice. I had like 3,000 photos. And I thought, well, I have enough that I could. And so I thought, what the heck, why not? So it was all by happy accident. I have gotten so many comments from this and so many reprint requests because of this shot. They've never seen where they live from the air like this. And so here again, it makes them very proud of where they live when they see it this way. And this is that playground that I was telling you about. And this photo right here, people have expressed like, where is that? What is that? And the moment I tell them that, it's a big aha, you know.
Tom's drone photography book, Above Okoboji, covers his work across all 4 seasons. From busy summer days on Iowa's popular recreation destination, to freezing chunks of ice dotting the lake in frigid winter temperatures. His work became both prolific and popular enough to spawn a second book debuting in 2018. It's all part of Tom's unconventional journey from hobbyist to photographer.
Yeah, I think the color's gonna look nice. So now I just like to look for something interesting, depending on my mood. If I want to do something abstract, boy, the reds are really pretty. And that's the interesting thing about this fall weather, or the fall color. It doesn't stay very long.
Meanwhile, on a rocky northwest Iowa shoreline, you may find Tom Gustafson, hands on the controls, with a camera in the sky, showing everyone what it's like above Okoboji. It's time for IPTV's Trail in a Minute, where we show you a first-person view of a different Iowa hiking, biking, or water trail each episode. It's a great way to relive a previous outdoor experience or plan a future adventure. And it's a pretty cool way to view the Iowa outdoors. Take a look. Tucked in the absolute northwest corner of Iowa, you'll find Gitche-Manitow State Preserve. With no strenuous paths to traverse, it's the perfect site for anyone to hike. As with most state preserves, beyond the main 2-mile loop road that runs through it, there are no formal trails. However, frequent visitors have blazed common paths, sometimes called social trails. Situated right on the banks of the Big Sioux River, to get up close to the water, you'll have to leave Gitche's main road. Unlike state parks, preserves are ecological protected lands. This means the public can visit sites, but are prohibited from activities such as camping and removing or damaging plants. Continuing down the main path, visitors will discover outcroppings of the distinctive Sioux Quartzite, which over 150 years ago was used to build the still-standing post office of Gibraltar. While unfortunately the structure is a frequent victim of vandalism, it is still a truly unique landmark. Beyond its distinctive rock, Gitche is home to more than 130 species of plants, which, depending on when you visit, will be out in full bloom to admire. Gitche-Manitow State Preserve, a short hike worth taking in the farthest northwestern reaches of the Iowa outdoors. That wraps up this episode of Iowa Outdoors. We encourage you to get outside and enjoy Iowa's parks and recreational opportunities. If you're planning any outdoors travel,
check out our extensive video archive of adventures at iptv.org/Iowa Outdoors.
While our episodes will continue to bring you outdoor adventures over the Iowa airwaves, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube for extended features and bonus content. And feel free to tag Iowa Outdoors in your online posts. Who knows, you might make it onto the show. For now, we'll leave you with more images of Iowa's outdoor environments.
Funding for Iowa Outdoors is provided by the Claude P. Small, Catherine Small Cousins, and William Carl Cousins Fund at the Lincoln Way Community Foundation in Clinton County to support nature programming on Iowa Public Television.
And by the Alliant Energy Foundation. Many of Iowa's natural wonders you'll find on Iowa Public Television can be found in Iowa Outdoors Magazine, the Iowa DNR's premier resource for conservation, education, and recreation activities. Subscription information can be found online at iowadnr.gov.